Hey, welcome back to the Intentionally Random broadcast. And long story short, I'm gonna keep it short today, y'all. You already know I'm Anthony Surreal, and across from me is the one and only Tina Mo for show. Now, today we are talking about fear, and from a real place, not the obvious kind, the kind that shows up in how people move, how long they wait, and the decisions that they make without even realizing it. Not everybody experiences it differently, and a lot of times it don't even get called what it is. And let's be honest, fear is not the easiest thing to talk about, but that's exactly why we getting into it. No pressure, no overdoing it. We just gonna have a real conversation about how fear can quietly affect us in ways that we don't always recognize. If you've ever second guessed yourself or felt stuck and couldn't explain it, this one right here might be for you. Okay. So stick around and let's get intentional. Tina.
Hello, hello, hello. Got the
Hey,
bell ringing.
Tina. Yes, we had to ring the bell to start the show.
I know that's right. How
Yes.
you doing?
I am doing well. I am doing well. I want to say breathing, blinking, and blessed, but I don't want to sound like a bot.
Uh,
But yes.
Not like a bot.
But I am breathing, I am blinking, I am truly blessed. I feel good. How you feel today?
um, I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good. I could probably use a shot of espresso, maybe a can of Red Bull, but other than that, I'm in it to win it.
Okay. Welcome, chat mints. Welcome to
Want
all
to
the chatters. Hmm?
want to make sure that we acknowledge everyone that is coming to the chat. First and foremost, Brit Family Fun. I see you. Appreciate your presence. Greetings and salutations, and welcome to these here Chatmans. That baby is always first. Um,
Hmm.
RCHPR Beast. I can't say that I'm accustomed to seeing your name in the chat, but we're so glad that you decided to hang out with us today. Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Chatmans. Keisha, so glad that you're here hanging
Hey,
out with us
Keisha.
today. Greetings and salutations, and welcome to these here Chatmans. Faux show, definitely. And we got Melinda in the house. So glad to see you today. Greetings and salutations. And of course, welcome to these here Chatmans. Calamity Jane is in the building, here and listening. I'm playing Fortnite as well, so I'll be in and out of the chat. That's quite all right. So we're just glad that you decided to hang out with us this evening. Greetings and salutations, and welcome to these here Chapmans. John, I'm gonna eat some cement. All right. Well, while you eat it, and all I can tell you is we're just glad that you decided to eat it over here. Greetings and salutations, and welcome to these
Lord,
here Chapmans.
I cannot. Don't have too much, buddy.
Yes, indeed. So, what do you think? How you think we going today? Today is one of those days that you're going to be at the helm, and I don't know exactly what to expect. To a degree, I could say I'm a bit nervous because I don't know what to expect, but I'm almost certain that I'm in good hands when it comes to you. Um, he's going to eat some uranium now. All righty. I reckon he gonna get him some vibranium in a minute if he go over there to Wakanda. But
Oh, let's see. Is that a call for help, Sean?
I'm not sure. But there's absolutely nothing that I could do at this point. But since he has a phone, I'm almost certain he can call for help. If he can't call for help, well, he's gonna have a very sturdy diet with uranium and cement. That's one thing I can tell you. Um, but otherwise, what you got up for us today, Anthony's?
So I just wanted to have a quick conversation. It won't be before y'all long. I wanted to talk about fear. Um because I feel like of course this is my opinion. I feel like it don't get talked about enough. I think we all deal with it. And so I
Mm-hmm.
just wanted to chat about it and like how it can show up, and it can appear of course different for everybody. And
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I just wanted to get into it. So when I say fear, what like automatically comes to mind for you? Like what do you think about when I say fear?
Um, the things we don't want to happen, basically, in a nutshell, the things that that has the potential to cause us harm that we try
Mhm.
to avoid, sometimes at all costs. But for the most part, it's the thing that we don't desire, um, that creates the emotion or creates the internal conflict that we would consider fear. That's what I mainly think about when it comes to fear. Of course, there is another kind of fear if you
Mhm.
go the biblical route, which is reverence. Like when it
Okay.
says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Um, and so when it comes to fear, it all depends on what a person means. Because the same way I might have a fear of a particular thing, I also can have a reverence for a particular thing too. Like
Right.
because I fear getting hit by a car, I'm gonna look both ways when I cross the street.
Right.
Because I don't want any bodily harm. But at the same token, I know to respect or reverence the fact that, to some degree, respect the fact that cars can hurt you. They have the potential to do something to me. And so, with that being the case, I'm not going to be haphazard whenever I'm near a street or trying to pass. I sure ain't going to be running in the middle of no highway. And so, that's what I think about when it comes to fear.
I like that. And I like that you also mentioned in reference to the other aspect of it, in reference to like, fear of the Lord, and referencing that. Yeah, I feel like fear, I agree with you. I do also feel like it can show up, in maybe different ways for different people.
Hmm.
And in that, I feel like sometimes we may recognize it, sometimes we may not.
Hmm.
I know for myself, when it comes to fear, I think I put it off on other things, maybe. Calling it, like overthinking, or in a way, I think procrastinating, like it
Hmm.
can, when you have it, it causes you to do other things, and maybe not show up or do whatever you are supposed to be doing, you know.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so with that, I know it can like, hold people back. Have you, or do you think you've ever like caught yourself like being held back due to fear?
Um, I mean, I made some bad decisions, that's for certain. When
Mm-hmm.
it comes to fear, um, fearing losing my finances at some point in time.
Mm-hmm.
I feared not being able to have enough to pay a bill before
Mm-hmm.
in life before, and ooh, you talking about some led to some crazy stuff, you know.
Been
Now where
there.
I am now, of course, is a lot different, but at the time, not being able to find stability financially was a big issue, and I had feared at one point. I remember fearing being homeless. I remember
Mm-hmm.
fearing not having anywhere to go or to stay because I didn't have anything. I didn't have anything to offer anyone, even to stay at their house at some point.
Right.
Um, and going through that, yeah, I remember experiencing different facets of fear, in that regard. But before you move on, I want to make sure that I acknowledge the people that just came into the chat. Crystal's World is in the building. So glad that you decided to hang out with us today. Greetings and salutations, and welcome to these here Chapmans. And who dat? So glad that you decided to stop by today and hang out with us a pair of seconds. Greetings and salutations, and welcome to these here Chapmans. As you were, Antony's.
Oh, yes. Okay. Hey, CGs. Thank you all for coming in. Thanks for sliding through. I'm gonna be honest with you, Tina. I agree with that. You know something that I noticed also with fear. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. Sometimes I would have the fear of like looking like I don't want to say dumb because I don't like really using that word or not
Mm-hmm.
like not really. I feared like not looking like as knowledgeable, or coming
Mm-hmm.
off like, if that makes sense, because certain words I don't like to use, or I try not to use certain words, so I don't want to say like dumb or ignorant, but
Mm-hmm.
that, or like not necessarily how you were saying, not in that position anymore, but yeah, I fear like, not having it all together,
Mm-hmm.
um going through that process. It's very, it can be awkward, um and I don't know, like, why do you think that is? Like, people, well, I mean, I know you're not a psychiatrist or nothing, but you know what I'm saying, like, in reference to that, I think it's just like the whole process
Mm-hmm.
of, I guess, figuring it out like out loud.
Um, Now I'm not afraid to use those terms. I have been afraid of looking dumb, sounding dumb, not
Hmm.
knowing what I know, what I'm talking about.
Right.
Uh, and I've been in spaces where I recognized and realized that I was in over my head in a situation. I wasn't knowledgeable enough to share the space with the people that I was in.
Hmm.
And I didn't have a whole lot to add to the conversation. And while that was embarrassing, it taught me something. It taught Number one, it taught me I wasn't as smart as I would have liked to have been. But at the same time, it also taught me I wasn't as interested in the same things that the people that I was hanging around or in the environment that I was in the first place. So I'm like, while I might not know this, I can't sit here and tell you that I wanted to know in the first place. And that's why
Okay.
I don't know right now. On the other hand, when it comes to that fear of someone, I don't know, discovering that there's a boatload of ignorance, or I don't know what I'm doing or something like that,
Hmm.
I've experienced it before. I can say that I've overcome that over the
Hmm.
years. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that some of it has to do with the fact that because I've been in a place where my dignity had been stripped from me through some of the
Hmm.
experiences that I have had in life.
Hmm.
Um, and because of that, when you face chaos and calamity a certain way, um, when you face that kind of uh, those types of things, it causes you to look at things a bit differently.
Hmm.
And what you would have been afraid of, you end up having to face. Like when I went to prison.
Hmm. Okay.
I was afraid of going to prison. I didn't know what to expect when it came to prison. But when I got there, I just was like, had to, in so many words, pull myself up by the bootstraps and figure out how to survive. And I went straight into survival mode. And sometimes I think I can live in that space even when it comes to content creation, or when it comes to me not knowing how to do something, or me being ignorant to a certain degree. Because I don't think there's anything wrong with being ignorant as long as you're willing to learn. And I
Agreed.
think that's the one thing that helps me to be able to overcome that fear as it pertains to someone looking at me and saying she don't know what she's talking about, or. And then too, everyone has an opinion, and it doesn't have to be the same as everyone else. And so while one person may think that I'm ignorant, the next person may feel like, oh, okay, she might be on to something. She may not know everything everything about the subject, but she knows something, and it's worth listening to.
That makes sense. I like that.
I want to say I saw somebody coming to the space. Zamir, I see you. While I do not know what language you are speaking, oi.
Hmm.
I can
That's me.
say that I appreciate you for coming into the space, deciding to hang out with us, ladies, and greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Chapmans. Is that fear or insecurity? Mm.
Mm.
I sometimes think that insecurity is a byproduct of fear.
I was gonna say, don't they would they run hand in hand though? Like because of the fear, it can make you insecure, or because if you're insecure, then it will make you fearful. Can they go like
Oh,
hand in hand?
I think that the fear factor possibly can come first. Um, I do believe that when it comes to fear, that one of when it comes to insecurity, I think insecurity is um you being able to highlight or magnify what
Mm-hmm.
your fears are.
Mm.
Because it's an internal thing, insecurity, meaning I
Oh
lack
yeah.
the security that I need inwardly. And so, if that's the case, then whatever it is that I fear, when it comes to insecurity, I don't, okay. Like, for instance,
Mhm.
if I harbor insecurity, there's an issue, there could be an issue of pride that shows up. Why is that
Okay.
pride there? Because it's trying to cover up the insecurity. Why is that insecurity there? Because something is either lacking
Mm-hmm.
or something is not complete in some kind of way, or if you've been taken advantage of as it pertains to weakness or vulnerability.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And so if someone has taken advantage of me at some point, I may have the insecurity as it pertains to going somewhere alone, or could be the
Right.
thing of I don't want to be in certain spaces because these type of people took advantage of me, or financially, or it could have been physically, whatever it is.
Right.
And when you experience those things, you end up having a fear that I don't ever want that to happen again. I don't ever want to put myself in that predicament or in that situation again where I'm vulnerable to the thing that caused fear.
That makes sense. Hmm. So then we just gotta figure out and reference that make a lot of sense. Then I can see like, yeah, that would cause somebody to be fearful of the situation moving forward. To be in fear of it happening again. Yes,
Hmm.
she is.
Corey's world said I'm working overtime. Corey, we're so glad that you decided to hang out with us. Came into the space one more again. Appreciate your presence. Greetings and salutations, and welcome to these here Chapmans. Um,
I like that.
Yolanda said, Brit Family Fun. She said that makes sense, Tina Mo, and a good question. Who that?
Yes, who
Absolutely, that
do
was a
that?
great question.
Love that.
But back to what I was saying, when it comes to insecurity, a lot of times you have to ask the question of what happened. No kid, no baby, all of a
Mhm.
sudden begins to fear, um, or experience fear unless something has happened to instill that fear.
Mm. That
Um,
makes sense.
right. There are certain things that you just don't have a reference point to fear something. If something bad, like a person isn't walking around thinking, oh, I'm gonna lose my job today, unless somebody at least threatened them, at least, or unless they had been through a situation where losing their job or not working at all caused so much hurt or harm or placed them in a place where their livelihood was in danger. Um, I'm still working out the stress of the current job that I have now, my
Hmm.
place of employment, because I had been threatened to be fired a bunch of times, not because of something I did necessarily, but because I had an issue with one of my supervisors, and
Hmm.
every other day or at least once a week there was a thing. They fire folks for that, and I'm like, what? for going to the restroom, and it would always be something small or minor that would be blown up out of proportion. And I remember someone telling me one day, it was like, they just talking, they just know they can get under your skin. Don't allow what they're saying to harm you or cause you any trepidation, because at the end of the day, they don't even have the power to do what they say that they can do, or they don't
Right.
even have the power to do the thing that they are telling you is going to happen to you or whatever. And so that's what ended up happening with me. I ended up in a predicament or in a situation where I'm like, every day I'm stressed out. Every day, my blood pressure is high, all because I have this thing that I'm wrestling with. Because I'm like, it took me a long time to get this job.
Right.
I didn't want to go any more amount of years without work, and so and I was tired of hustling and, doing the odd jobs. And, I was tired of painting people's houses and watching kids and cutting hair and all this and other. It was all the things that I had to do in order to maintain some money in my pocket. I'm like, I didn't want to continue to do that. But it was hard because, like I said, I came across someone who was threatening that livelihood. And at the time, I hadn't made the most money that I had ever made in my life at that time, but it
Hmm.
was the most money that I had had during that period. And I'm like,
Right.
and it was just enough for me to be like, I'll fight you about this job. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But I couldn't because, this is my supervisor. I could lose my job, and then, I'm on the no hire list or something, and then I'll have a hard time. And so that's something that I think about when you have that reference point of, if I had never gone through what I had gone through, so
Hmm.
long trying to look for a job, so long trying to look for employment. And a lot of that, of course, was due to me being incarcerated and not being able to find gainful employment. But
Hmm.
because I had gone so long like that, I had already an insecurity, which was something that was used against me. Oh, folks like you, they get rid of folks like you. What I'm saying? What you mean, folks like me? You know. And so I think about that, that people can talk according to your own insecurities, according to
Hmm.
your own situations that you have experienced in your life. And sometimes them speaking to that will bring about a fear.
Yeah, that's true. I know at one point, I guess I can, well, I'm just gonna tell my business. At one point, I struggled with the like the fear of other people's opinions, because
Hmm.
I'll say, like, kind of growing up, it was like, I know I was loved, like my family loved me, but it was kind of I don't want to say tough like that, but in a way of, it's kind of like, okay, if you mess up, then it's like, okay, not everybody see you mess up, and it's like the worst thing in the world. And like growing up, I made a lot of like bad decisions. And
Hmm.
so with that, I had this fear of, okay, I got to keep it all together, um, and just kind of like, I don't know, other people's opinions, like what they had to say, play a very big part. So with that, thank you, Lord, for helping me push past that. But I was gonna say, like, with that, I think that was something that I struggled with.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I can understand that, but like I said, all of it is basically, I wish that what's her name is here, Danielle, because a lot of times
Okay.
she breaks down these things
Mm-hmm.
from a therapeutic
Psychological.
perspective,
Right.
psychological perspective, because
Right.
sometimes a lot of these things are attached to trauma. We have trauma
Mm-hmm.
in our lives, and while I'm not an expert on the subject, I've experienced it. And
Right.
because I've experienced certain levels of trauma, there are a lot of things that I still carry that affect me on a regular basis. Like I almost stole everything.
Oh, you don't
um,
got to. You
yeah,
don't got to.
I thought about what I was about to say, and I was like, no, I don't think I want to say all that. But
No, you don't
yeah,
got
I
to.
still harbor insecurity like anyone else. There are certain relationships I don't want to lose. but I don't want to be the culprit of losing it. So sometimes, even though nothing has happened, or if something that did happen, it can be blown out
Hmm.
of proportion in my own mind just because I don't want to lose this particular. And it's not always about status. Sometimes it's about the fact that I don't want to lose fellowship or a certain type of fellowship with an individual, all because of what I have, something that I did,
Right.
my areas of failure, and some of those things just have to do with the fact that how you could be a kid and they call yourself friends, and you do something that they don't like, and they be like, I ain't gonna be your friend no more. Well, at some point, some kids can be like, well, I ain't gonna be your friend then, and it's no big
Right.
deal, and they keep on playing. But there are some of us who experience that I ain't gonna be your friend no more, especially at this great bigger age. And it's like, do you know how long or how hard it was to open up to you to be my friend in the first place?
Okay.
You
And
know
now it's
you know
just
what I'm
like,
saying? And so it's different because everybody's not my friend. I don't embrace everyone, not in my close spaces, or I don't necessarily consider everyone near and dear to my heart. Are they cool? Yeah. Can I say I associate with them? Absolutely. Uh but they're just different categories that you place people, and those that are the closest to you, the last thing you want to do is lose those type of relationships. But let me pause for a moment. I see Alisa uh, Volkova is in the chat. We want to make sure that we acknowledge you. Appreciate your presence. Thank you for hanging out with us. And greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Chatmans. I wanted to make sure that I didn't skip anyone. For whatever reason, we seem to have a lot of ever so often quite a few people from outside of the country speaking. But we're so glad, nevertheless, that all of you all have come in here and decided to hang out with us. Um, but what were you about to say, Anthony's?
uh, so I was just gonna speak to the fact of that fear. It can affect us. It can affect like everyday decisions in reference to being fearful of something, not moving forward, or maybe not showing up,
Hmm.
which can be, of course, from many different reasons in reference to maybe overthinking
Hmm.
or not feeling ready. But sometimes, in a way, it can be, fear. Maybe you're not ready, or maybe it's fear making you think you're not ready.
Hmm. Um, I mean, and I've experienced it too. The fear of failure. Um, the procrastination that comes with I don't have all my T's crossed and all my I's dotted.
Mm-hmm.
Becoming a perfectionist to some sort, to the point where you freeze. You
Mm-hmm.
don't move forward. You don't even attempt to do a thing because it has to be at a certain category, or it has to be a certain way. And um, a lot of times we can keep ourselves from forward progress just with the mindset of, I'm not ready for this.
Mm-hmm.
And I do understand the whole thing of, okay, I don't have any experience in this thing. I would like to learn a few things before I get started. But it's completely different when I've been doing this thing for 10 years. Then all of a sudden, I don't know if I could do this anymore, or I don't know if I could
Mm-hmm.
do this. And it's like, but you've been doing this maybe in a different sphere, maybe in a different
Right.
environment, or maybe a different way, but you've been doing it the whole time. Why is it all of a sudden? And a lot of that has to do with the fact that, we could get caught up as it pertains to the fear of failure, you know, the
Mm.
fear of being seen or perceived a certain way. And
Yeah.
some of that is our ego that's involved, you know,
Agreed.
and that ego shows up whenever there's insecurity.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's crazy because that is something to think about. Like, are we afraid of failing, or are we afraid of like people seeing us fail, or what people gonna say about us failing? You know what I'm saying?
Well, that
Um,
depends on the individual, though, because
right.
I could say this. Um, I don't want to fail, not because of what someone else has to say,
Just
but
I don't.
because if I put my hand to something, I want it to be successful.
And that is
Um,
correct.
Now, there have been times where I've been bothered because someone said something like, what you're doing don't count for nothing, or
Oh
what you
wow.
doing doesn't mean anything. That has bothered me. Because I'm like, you don't know what kind of work I'm putting in, and you don't even understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. But I'm not finna stop and explain it to you. But there have been times where, there have been times where people have gotten under my skin about because they don't understand the journey that I'm on or the sacrifices that have to be made in order for me to be on the journey that I'm on. But beyond that, the thing of being fearful of failure, I can't say
Mhm.
it's the thing about, oh, I don't want somebody else to see me sweat. I don't want somebody else to see me fail. I'm like, I was a failure to me before I was ever a failure to you.
With anybody else?
Uh huh. Hmm.
Mm.
And if that's the way I see myself, it doesn't matter. Matter of fact, if I see myself as a loser, it don't matter what the next person says.
Correct. Because if I've already made that up in my mind,
Right.
then it's like if somebody else feel like that when you think about it, then are they just like confirming with what I have already said about myself? But then that's like a
Exactly.
whole nother like issue when you think about it.
Um, I think it is the thing of they're just confirming what you already believe. They're just
Same
saying
thing
the thing
started
that
in the
you won't
mind.
say out loud to your face.
Mm.
And so I think about that as it pertains to um when it comes to other people and what they think about you. Um a lot of the weight that comes with how they feel about you is the fact that you both think the same thing.
Mm.
I don't care what kind. Oh, I don't think I want to use that example.
What?
What I don't
Oh.
care what kind of person walks up to a firefighter that
Mm-hmm.
has gone through the training, has put out several fires, be like, "You ain't no real firefighter." It's
Like
like, are
what?
you crazy? What's wrong with you? Now, if that firefighter has some kind of internal issue or what have you, as it pertains to, I don't think I deserve to be here.
Mm.
And sometimes that could come because of some sort of failure. Maybe they had a house fire and one of their partners passed away in the fire that they were responsible for. Survivor's guilt can make them feel like I shouldn't be here or I have no business being here. I couldn't even keep my partner safe or what have you. Out of that trauma formulates an idea or formulates some kind of opinion that that person has themselves. So by the time somebody else comes along, little Joe Blow or the little girl with the sucker stuck in her hair, coming talking
Right.
about some, you ain't no real firefighter. All of a sudden, you over there wailing and grinding and pulling your boots off, and it's like,
Okay.
wait, what happened here? That little girl ain't got nothing to do with what you better get up and go do what you've been doing this whole
Or
time.
do your
But if
job.
you believe it, it'll
Right.
stop you dead in your tracks. Because then you feel like, oh, I've been found out. Somebody recognizes the real me because that's what you think you are. You think you're not the person that you've been operating or you feel like a fraud in some kind of capacity. And so by the time
Mm.
somebody comes along and says it, you're like, you know what, you've been right all the time. This is the way I've been feeling the whole time and you just confirmed it.
I felt that that's deep. That's a point to sleep. Yeah.
Hmm. Kendall, I just wanted to make sure that I acknowledged you. We appreciate you coming in this evening. Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Chapman. So glad that you decided to hang out with us this evening.
So yeah, it can do a lot. Fear can cause a lot, cause you to miss out on things, not moving forward. Time. Gotta realize it early. Hmm.
Who is Amir? I didn't see no Amir. Oh, Amir.
Mhm.
Oh, it's Amir.
Oh, okay. It's fear.
Yes. Brick Family Fun, Yolanda said fear is paralyzing. It can be.
Yes, it can
Absolutely.
be.
Absolutely can be. Tips Take is in the building. So glad that you decided to hang out with us one more time. Greetings and salutations, and welcome to these here Chapman. Yeah, but like I said, it's one of those things that if you think certain things about yourself, by the time
Hmm.
someone else comes along and says the thing that you've been thinking all the time,
It's kind of too late.
I mean, that's all that's happening. They're just confirming what you already thought.
Right.
They're just agreeing with you because it may not even be confirmation. Both of y'all could be lying. They lying to you and you lying to yourself.
Right. Lie to yourself matters first, though, I think.
It most certainly matters because you'll operate according to what you think, who you think you are.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Cedar 17 is in the building. So glad that you decided to hang out with
Yeah,
us
we was
today.
not.
Good evening. Appreciate your presence in the space. Greetings and salutations, and welcome to these here Chatmans.
Yeah. So what you were saying, I do agree with what you were saying when you think about it. Yeah, that's like, if somebody do come along and agree with you, then it's like, dang, you was right about yourself. So, and you already believe that, so it make it
You
even worse.
already believe
Mhm.
it. That's the whole
Yeah.
thing. If you already believe that you're a failure, if you already believe, oh, they're gonna fire me, ain't no sense of me even going to work today. Well, if you don't go to work, you're gonna get fired.
Right.
Now, just because somebody said that didn't make it true, regardless to whether you did something wrong or not. But if you don't show up to the space, all because of what you think, the thing that you think more than likely will come to pass. Not because you were right in your thoughts, but because your actions followed your thoughts.
Mm-hmm. That's why we cannot internalize things.
Hmm. That's why it's best to get some help when we start thinking like that in the first place.
Agreed to. Agree. Mm-mm-mm. So we just gotta call fear what it is, even though it may be hard.
Hmm. Did you have anything else about fear?
No, that was about it. We
Well,
gonna
I'm
get
so
out of
glad that
here.
all of you all decided to come in and
Thank
hang
y'all
out
again.
with us
We
this
won't be
evening.
with on y'all be before y'all too long.
Yes, one thing I do know is that we can hit it and quit it, or we can stay and play. And if there ain't nothing to play with, ain't no sense of staying. What I can
Yes.
tell you though is this, as it pertains to final thoughts about fear. My final thoughts about fear is this. Um, Sometimes the best way to handle fear is to talk about it. That's number one. To acknowledge the thing that's bothering you. Number two is to face it. Be willing to do the hard thing. Be willing to do the thing that you feel like is going to take you out. Now, I'm not talking about being haphazard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going bungee jumping with one leg, and hope that the rope don't snap. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about though is not allowing how you think and how you feel about yourself to be the thing that keeps you from moving forward into the spaces that you want to be in or the relationships that you desire to cultivate. One thing that I can say about a lot of men is that they have learned how to pursue a woman even if she feels even if he feels like she's out of her league.
Mm-hmm.
They're not afraid of rejection. Do they want it? Absolutely not. And I'm not saying that all of them respond the same way to rejection, even when you tell them no. But it's one thing that I can say is, regardless to how that is, you still have, for the most part, and I know a lot of things are changing nowadays. A
Mm-hmm.
matter of fact, you got women that's proposing to men on bended knee, so that lets you know we in different times. But what I can say though is that built-in factor of What's the worst that can happen? They say no, move on. To be willing to face the thing that you're afraid of and to move forward anyway is probably one of the best things that you could possibly do. Because number one, it lets you know that the thing that you were afraid of wasn't that bad in the first place. That the worst that you could have thought about it didn't happen anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Casey, the one asked the question: do you think fear can be a good thing in a different measure? Absolutely.
Yeah, if you
Um,
push past it, push forward.
I think fear is the thing that keeps you humble,
Mm,
as long as it's not taken out of context, as
okay.
long as it's not going overboard. I think fear keeps us humble because sometimes it causes you to think, okay, can I do this? It causes you to ask the questions that need to be asked about how do you see yourself?
Mm-hmm.
What do you really think about you, your strengths, your mind, um, your vulnerabilities, your ability to recover, your ability to become resilient? Can you keep going even if things go wrong? If worst case scenario happens, can you still move forward? I
Mm-hmm.
think that fear gives us the ability to understand that everything is not in our control
Mm-hmm.
and that if we're paying attention, we'll see that we have more help than what we thought, that we're stronger than what we were when we're willing to face it.
I like that. And so I agree, Tina. And thank you for that question, Casey. That was a really good question.
It was absolutely.
Well, I
Um,
appreciate you guys.
but do you have any last thoughts before we get on out of here?
What Tina said, guys. I agree with what Tina said. But yeah, fear is one of those things that I know a lot of people don't like to talk about. It can be uncomfortable because it do show up. They show up in different ways and it be real. But like Tina said, you can use it in a good way. Oh, he
Hmm.
said can put you in a different position where you can elevate yourself. Agreed. And cause you to move
Hmm.
with intention. It'll cause you to move with more intention, to be more aware. So then you can recognize that you moving in fear and you can do something different.
And then this is the thing about moving in fear. It's not necessarily about moving in fear. You
Through
can
it,
move while afraid.
okay.
You can move knowing that there's imminent danger in front of you. But you also can move in such a way that regardless of what that fear is, you find out what your strengths are. Because a lot
Mm,
of times we don't know that we actually can do the thing that we're afraid of, that we can get through the thing that we fear the most, that we can bounce back even in worst case scenario.
mm-hmm.
That even though a relationship ended that we wanted, even though the demise of someone that we loved came anyway,
Mm-hmm.
just the fact that we were able to sit there, accept it, receive it, take it for face value, and govern ourselves accordingly. Because sometimes that fear, what it does is give you the information that you need to prepare for what's ahead. Because
Mm-hmm.
some things are inevitable, some things we cannot escape, some things have to happen. And though we may be afraid, we could still get through it.
I like that.
Miguel, we are on our way out the door. We were glad that you were able to stop by, hang out with us a few seconds before we get out of here. What I could tell you is, if you would be kind and rewind for the one time, you might be able to hear something that might change your mind. So we're just glad that you were able to come in, hang out with us. Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Chapmans. Lastly, what I want to tell you is this, because we've lightly talked about fear this evening. One thing I want to encourage you all to do is take inventory. Look at what's really before you in the thing that you fear. If you think somebody might think that you're dumb or ignorant, you might be correct. But somebody else may think that you're brilliant. And you've come across some kind of information and you're a genius at it because no one else has found it but you.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the way you operate, somebody else may feel like, oh, that ain't how you do that. But you could have tapped into something that makes a whole system better. Don't be afraid to be different. Don't be afraid to be wrong. Because at least in being wrong, you then can go from that space to look for the right answers. When it's all said and done, all fear is information. And you can use that information, like KC 17 said, for your elevation. Thank you all for coming out, hanging out with us this evening. Pray that you have a blessed evening. And until next time, bye.
Bye.